Another great team win. We withstood a big run by Sacramento. That's a hell of a team. They are in the standings where they are for a reason. Their offense is really hard to guard, especially when they shoot the ball well. You know, in the second and third quarters combined, they made 15 threes, which obviously is tough to combat. Some of those are the shots that we're giving up in our defense, and they shot the ball great, and credit to them. I think our team adjusted well in the fourth quarter to get some stops. But the thing I continue to be most proud of with this team is that every night it just seems like different people continue to step up and continue to use the opportunities that are given to them to try to contribute to winning. And I thought tonight, you know, Doak hasn't played in a while, and he played a really important 18 minutes for us and had 13 points and 8 rebounds. He deserves a lot of credit for that. He's been working really hard to stay ready, and he made the most of his opportunity. Chris, you know, again with 18 and 10 off the bench, was tremendous. I thought Rudy had some big moments for us offensively. Didn't shoot it well from three. Ochai with 27 points. We're continuing to see his game start to expand a little bit. The shots that he's looking for, the shots that he's taking, obviously it feels better when they go in, but I'll continue to say, like, I would feel the same way about Ochai if he had missed a lot of those shots, because he's finding and seeing different shots than he was a month ago. I love this team. I hope you guys do too.
Given the context of how, like you said, how hard Sacramento's offense is to guard, how important was it to get off to the kind of start your offense did there in the first quarter, where you were getting good looks and the shots were just falling like you wanted?
Yeah, it was very good. I think a big part of that is that we guarded well in the first quarter, and so it allowed us to play against an unset defense. We got out in transition. We were able to use our pace. You know, it's been a huge emphasis for us since, you know, the trade deadline to try to play faster. And we have been. I think we're coming into today, we're like second in the NBA in transition possessions since the deadline. And so I think our team, we fed off our defense. We did a good job of getting stops, and it allowed us to get out and run. And yeah, of course, it helps when the shots go in. But then, you know, as we've seen a lot this year, we've been on the other end of some of these games where teams get off to hot starts against you, and 48 minutes is a long time. And the talent level in this league is unbelievable. And when the three ball starts going in, big swings in the score can happen. But, you know, our team maintained composure when they made that run. The game's tied going into the fourth quarter, and it's like, here we are again, Team 49 in another close game, which has been kind of the story of our season. And our guys just buckled down. We tried to talk about some adjustments we wanted to make on the defensive end to try to slow them down a little bit. And we had some guys make some big plays on the offensive end. So obviously getting off to a great start is super helpful, but 48 minutes is a long time, and there's going to be moments where the other team makes a run and you have to adjust.
What have you guys done in terms of, you know, internal player development to get, you know, not only the young guys, but, you know, some of the older guys to places where they are now as opposed to where they were at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I think everybody's understanding our system a little bit better, understanding where their opportunities are. And then, as weird as it may sound, like a night like tonight where Lowry's out and JC and Colin have been out for a bit now, guys are thrust into different roles. And so it's just about taking that opportunity and understanding that, hey, tonight's a different thing and I have to try to accomplish some different things on the court. We try to teach as much as we can through film and doing stuff at practice and on the court. Our assistant coaches and player development group do a great job of coaching guys individually. Like, there's so much coaching that goes on one-on-one in our program, and it happens a lot in the NBA where guys are sitting with an assistant coach. You guys see them pregame, so I'm like watching clips individually. We do a lot of team film as a group, but there's plenty of things that are very specific to one person's experience. So I think that's the hope, right? As the year goes on, everybody gets a little bit better at their role within the construct of how we're playing. And I think we've seen that. Not every night's a masterpiece for everybody. We know that, but I think everybody understands where their opportunities are. And, it's fun on a night like tonight when some guys are out and guys get to play a bigger role.
Ochai probably could have pulled up with like 45 seconds left from three like he did against Boston, but he puts the ball on the floor and then gets to the free throw line. Is that something you guys teach? Like, or does he just have to know to do that?
To
just like make the read that, hey, maybe trying to get into the paint is a better read for him at that spot.
Yeah, he's, that's an action that we've worked on a lot with him. We ran it a couple times tonight for he and Fontecchio. And he made a great decision. He has that whole side of the floor open. I think on that one, though, we didn't clear the corner, so we didn't run the play right, so I'll yell at somebody later. But I think it was Kelly. But, he knows that his read is shoot or drive, but he has to do it quickly. But in the timeout before that, we had preached, we ran that face cut for Ochai out of that timeout, we are in the bonus. And so understanding the bonus on both sides of the ball has been a huge emphasis for us. When you're in the bonus offensively, if you have a rhythm three, we're all about it. But if it's close, if it's a coin toss, drive the ball physically because you have an opportunity to get to the free throw line. And Ochai has great physicality, and he made a great decision. I thought it was one of his better drives, too, in terms of going to the body of the defender, not letting them close the space. So he did a great job.
Kelly's miscue notwithstanding.
He was awesome tonight, I know.
So wasn't able to be such a good glue guy in situations like this where he's doing a little bit of everything all game long.
Yeah. I don't mean this as bad as it sounds. Kelly likes when some guys are out because you see him, he's throwing the ball to the 5 and going back and getting it off a handoff. I think in Kelly's heart, he's a point guard. I really think that that's how he thinks of himself as a player, is that he's a facilitator and a distributor and a decision maker. And it's what makes Kelly a unique player. It's what makes him very versatile for us and fun. And sometimes it's what makes it look a little bit unorthodox. You have this 7-footer throwing the ball and going back and getting it off a handoff like he's a guard. And so, nights like tonight, he's empowered even more to be a playmaker. We always trust Kelly. He's always heavily involved in how we play, but especially tonight when Lowry's out, we need him to make a lot of decisions for us, and he did a great job. We try to put him in a lot of spots where he's getting a live catch, and then he's making that initial read. He's a hell of a player. I still, I think he's a little bit unscoutable in some ways. I'm not really sure if Kelly has tendencies. I think he just is kind of playing at times, which is great. He just kind of if you did a MapQuest tracker on the court of where Kelly goes on one possession, it could be literally, he could cover more ground than any player on the team. But it's what gives our team an unpredictability. When he starts moving around like that, guys start cutting and moving because they know that he's looking for him, and he made a lot of great decisions tonight. 19, 10, and 8, that's special, especially for a guy that is considered a 4 or a big. You don't see that a ton.
What do you like about Walker Kessler's game tonight?
I thought Walker was awesome. Sabonis is one of the best bigs in the league. He's incredibly physical. He does such a good job of getting to your body early. I thought Walker did a good job of bracing for that first bump. Sabonis does. He's not as long as Walker is, and so he does a really good job and had done a good job the first 2 games against us of getting to his body early. And so I thought Walker did a good job of bracing for that first bump, and then was able to use his length late. 5 blocks again. There's probably 8 more shots in there that he altered to a point where you could almost count them as a block. And just continue to battle on the glass. Sabonis is a handful. It's not just the initial shot. He's great at following his own miss. He's great at wedging you out underneath. Walker's in the back of that zone, and so he has a big responsibility in terms of communicating and has to change sides of the court a lot based on how the offense is aligned. I thought he was outstanding.
And then did a lot of the little things tonight too, boxing out. How have you guys kind of kept him engaged and focused on some of those other things besides, the big dunks that he gets a lot of attention for?
Yeah, Doak works really hard. He's one of the first people on the court every day with our player development group, and he works on everything from screening angles to playing off the ball for dump offs. Like he's done a really good job of staying ready. Like I can't give him enough credit. It's been hard to do, what he's done this year. I've said that about a couple guys on the team, but he starts the year injured and he didn't quite get the opportunity that maybe he thought he was going to, and he's just kept his head down and really kept working. His physicality stands out. Like the dunks are amazing, but when he screens people, they disappear. And he does such a good job on the glass of being physical. He just gives us such a presence underneath, and I thought he did a good job in the zone defensively as well, like being vertical at the rim and making guys finish over him. He deserves a lot of credit for the work. He deserves a lot of credit for how he's taking care of his body. Like he played 18 minutes, and that's 2 9-minute stretches. And if you haven't been really working on your conditioning, there's no way you can do that. So he's been doing a lot to stay ready. He plays on the off days with our guys, and I'm really happy for him that he was able to really contribute in a big way tonight.
What do you like about the way Chris runs the scheme?
I mean, number one, I like that Chris has a swagger about him. We've discussed the fact that early on when he got here, he would look at me and flex every time he scored, which I thought was actually hilarious. But he just carries himself with a moxie and a swagger that our team feeds off of. It's not just how he runs the team offensively in terms of breaking guys down off the dribble and then finding his teammates. It's the way he guards the ball, the way he picks up the ball handler, his body language. He just carries himself with a confidence and a presence that feeds into the rest of the group. He's brought such a good energy to the locker room since he got here. Obviously, his understanding of how we're playing keeps getting better and better every day. He's understanding the spacings, and we're able to add in a few more calls each day as he gets more opportunities to get reps at practice. But the thing that I love about him the most is just his body language and kind of his presence when he's on the floor for us.
What would it mean to you to make the playoffs?
I think it would. You'd be proud of this group of guys for sure. We talked at the beginning of the year a little bit about expectations and narratives and not letting anybody dictate who this team's going to be but them. The way that they fight every day, the way that they are committed to trying to help win, the way that they've all sacrificed for the group, for that to happen, I think I'd be so happy for them, because it's not easy to go into a season where everybody's telling you that you're not very good. There's obviously rough patches at points in the season. You lose 4 in a row. You dip a certain number of games below 500, and everybody says oh, there it is, it's over. And that's natural. That's not anybody's fault. That's just the way that it works. And they haven't backed off one bit. They haven't given in ever. I think, again, only having been here as a visitor, I don't really know. This was always a hard place to play. It's always very loud, but I just feel our fans feed off the energy of this team. They like how scrappy and tough and how they never go away in a game. Yeah, I would just be really proud of the guys, just how they've carried themselves the whole year. It's, again, just another example of not judging people too early, which we've talked a lot about this year.
Earlier this year, you had a good quote where you kind of said, "This team's really good when things get weird or chaos."
Yeah.
We couldn't really. It was probably too early in the season to put a finger on why. But now that we're towards the end of the season, we keep seeing close games like this where you guys keep pulling them out at the end. Do you have any better idea of what makes this team able to, like you say, never back down and pull out games like this?
I'm not sure if it's one thing. I do think that we've really tried hard to create an environment where everybody feels like they're a part of the team, and everybody could be called upon on any night. You go through pockets where guys are sort of out of the rotation because 15 guys can't play, but we're always looking for opportunities to keep guys engaged, and if there's a good matchup for them, to keep them in. And we've played with a ton of different closing lineups. We have a substitution pattern idea going into every game like anybody does, but we're pretty flexible. We've talked a lot with our team about being flexible in their thinking. Like, it may not be your night tonight, but that doesn't mean that you're not any good or that you're out of the rotation. It's just we're trying to win tonight's game, and this guy's playing great and you're not playing great tonight, or this is a better matchup for him. And so I think because of that, like, we're now at a point where almost nothing surprises them. Like, being in, being out, this is the defense we're in, this is the coverage, this is what we're running on offense, we're running plays for this guy. Like, they don't even bat an eye anymore, because that's just kind of how we've tried to operate all year. Is that it's a team and everybody has something to contribute, and we'll try our best to make decisions in a game as a staff as to like what we think helps us win that night's game. We've just tried to like lean into it, I guess, a little bit. We talk very openly with the team about it, that like things are going to get hard, things are going to be difficult, lineups are going to change, things are going to be unexpected. Like, expect the unexpected, or expect the expected, however you want to put it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sort of?
Sure.
Yeah. I've talked a lot. I got to go.